This video is going to cover information on our Roman numeral 5, the English Reformation. But before I show you that outline, I want to just quickly show you this diagram, it's a diagram of the different branches of Christianity. So you can see here that for many, many years, there were only two branches or divisions of Christianity. You have the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholics. And then Martin Luther comes along with the Reformation, and we have Protestantism branch off or split from the Roman Catholic Church, okay? Then you can see we have, the divisions of Protestantism. You've got Lutheranism, you've got Calvinism, and then a branch off of Calvinism is Presbyterianism, as well as the Reformed. And then we're about to go over, of course, Anglicanism, okay? And you can see here the various branches from Anglicanism. So I wanted to show you this so that you have a better understanding of the different divisions of Christianity and how specifically the Protestant faith does have multiple branches. Also, before we begin the English Reformation on our Section 5, I wanted to refer to these two very important and helpful charts that you can use when you are studying for the Protestant Reformation test. I will attach these charts on Canvas, so that way if you want to print them off, you can, especially if you're a virtual only and you are not in class to receive a paper copy of this. If you are a hybrid student, I will have paper copies to give you if you don't want to print this off. If you don't have access to a printer, then just make sure you can access this again as you study for the Protestant Reformation test. So look how great this is. This gives you the contrasting Protestant and Catholic doctrine. So it tells you how Protestants view things, and it gives you the different branches. You've got how the Anglicans, which we'll be talking more in our section today, the Lutherans, the Calvinists, and the Anabaptists, how they all view certain things versus the church's view. So if you'll go through this chart and see the major differences between Protestant doctrine and Catholic doctrine, this will very much help you prepare for certain questions on the major tests that will be taken. And you can see here, this is page 2. So again, both of these are posted on Canvas to either refer to them or print them out for your own copy. One last thing to show y'all before we start our outline on Roman numeral 5 is this map of the actual different groups, and you can see where they are located in Europe. So we're about to go over the Anglicans, which you can see here are England and England and Ireland. You've got the Calvinists, you've got some here, of course, in France, of course, where they originated in Switzerland. So they have spread to different areas in Europe. Your Eastern Orthodox are over here in the Ottoman Empire and Russia. Your Lutherans are mainly here in the northern German states and Scandinavia. And then, of course, everything in yellow you see here are your Roman Catholics. So again, I thought this was a great map to show y'all of the different groups within the Christian faith and where they are located during the time of this Reformation. Here is the typed outline that you're going to be referring to when we go over information on the English Reformation. So again, make sure you are taking good notes using this as a guide, and this is what you're, of course, going to use when you are studying for quizzes and tests. We begin the English Reformation with a quick reminder of the early English reformers who were pointing out some concerns that they had about the church. One of those, if you remember, is John Wycliffe. Remember, his followers were known as the Lollards. Now, Wycliffe is no longer around by the time that the Reformation gets underway, but his followers, some of them are still around in England by the time 1517 comes around for the start of the Reformation. So I wanted you to know that they're going to continue to spread his ideas throughout different parts of England that will help inspire a Reformation there. Another example of an early English reformer is William Tyndale. Now, he is considered a humanist, and he will translate the Bible into English. Now, I know you're already thinking, well, that sounds like what Wycliffe did, but there is going to be a major difference. The difference is when Wycliffe translated the Bible, it was based on the Latin Bible and it was handwritten. Tyndale's translation of the Bible was based on the original Greek and Hebrew scripture. So it will be mass produced thanks to the printing press. You see, Wycliffe's was just handwritten, so it didn't really spread to many people. But Tyndale's was mass produced using the printing press. Okay? You have to remember at this time, it says here, only Latin or Greek translations were allowed. And so therefore, this is going to get Tyndale in some trouble. So you can see here, he was hunted down and executed in 1536 after thousands of English Bibles made their way to England. What happened was it was printed on the printing press in one of the German states. And many of them, of course, made their way back to England. And so that is what's going to get him into trouble. So yes, he will be, labeled a heretic and he will be executed. Quick reminder, when we started the Protestant Reformation and I ask you, where does it begin? We're going to say the German states in 1517. And y'all know the big event is, of course, with the nailing of the 95 Thesis on the church door in Luther's hometown of Wittenberg. So make no mistake, that began the Protestant Reformation. Now, what is causing it to begin in England? And that answer lies with the King of England. So we are going to take a look at one of the most famous kings of England, Henry VIII. So here we go. He is the second of the Tudor monarchs to rule England, and he had earlier been a conservative Catholic who was very critical of Luther. So at one time, he was very Catholic, make no mistake. And then, of course, you'll see some of the changes that we're going to talk about.